Your Excellency, Ambassador Marian Van Steen, head of the European Union delegation to Jamaica. Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Mr. Heroy Clark. Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Audrey Sewell. I'm not seeing her at the moment, but I acknowledge her in absentia. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Courtney Williams. Major General Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police. His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Leroy Williams, Mayor of Montego Bay. I also acknowledge Bishop, the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Custos Rotalorum of this beautiful parish, St. James. Dr. Wayne Henry, Chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Mr. Omar Sweeney, Deputy Chair of the Zone of Special Operations and Managing Director of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. I acknowledge Pastor Glenn O. Samuels. I'm not too sure if he's with us, but he is President of the West Jamaica Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, and we anticipate him as well. Representatives from the Planning Institute of Jamaica and also from the JSIF PRP team. That's the Poverty Reduction Program team, including Project Manager Celia Dillon and Communications Consultant AC White, who has worked together to put today's program in place. Representatives from the Ministry of National Security and also from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Representatives from our various media houses who are here today to ensure that the information is spread far and wide. Special welcome to the Jamaica Information Service and More FM, the station that drives strong community energy. They're actually broadcasting live right now their program entitled Cop Alert, and they're carrying that program live. I believe one of our officers of the JCF is the lady in charge at this time. Also, we are streaming on the communications channel of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we welcome them. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all, a very good afternoon to you. Hello. Good afternoon. It is a good afternoon. I am delighted to be here. I like to see ribbons being cut, and this is the second one in a matter of days. And that's a good thing. Yes, I am delighted. The official opening of the Mount Salem Police Station is something that I know personally that the residents have anticipated, they have looked forward to, and they are happy that it is going to be handed over today. And I speak not just as your master of ceremonies, but I speak as a Montegonian, that this is certainly welcomed. And it is a wonderful thing to happen for the community. We know it's a warm afternoon, and we're going to try to be as expeditious as we can so that we don't stay too long, but we have important things to say, and so we're going to get right into that. So I welcome each and every one, and I'm going to lay hands on my custos to invite a blessing on us this afternoon. I'm not too sure Pastor Samuels is with us, but I know my custos is ready to offer prayer at any time of day or night. So custos, may I invite you to come to the lectern to bless us this afternoon as we get started.
May I invite you all to stand, please. May I invite you to bow your heads and as we quiet our hearts before the Lord. To him we offer praise today and thanksgiving. We thank him for his blessings. We thank him for the beautiful island home that He has given us to enjoy. Gracious Father, Heavenly Lord, Master of your universe, Protector and Preserver of your people, we thank you today for your goodness. We thank you for your mercy and for your loving kindness. The psalmist David declares that it is new every morning. Today, as we are gathered here for this occasion in handing over this police station, we pray for our Honorable Prime Minister and the members of his cabinet, the team around him. We thank you for the vision that you have given to him and the mantle you have placed upon him to lead your people at such a time as this. Pray for our Minister of National Security and his team, the Commissioner of Police and the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JSIF, and all the others who have come together to make today the reality that it is. We ask for your continued guidance. We ask that you'll continue to lead us as a people we follow you. We pray, O God, for the peace of our nation. We pray that through your Spirit, you might minister to us today in this gathering. Whatever will be done and said, at the end of the day, the glory be yours. We commit this building and all the premises around as we dedicate it to you today. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And may those who walk within the confines of this place find contentment, peace, and service. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated.
Thank you very much, Bishop, the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, our Custos of St. James. Thank you for your blessing, and it's always good to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, we move right into the program, and at this time to offer opening remarks is a man who has two hats today. He's wearing the hat of the Deputy Chairperson of the Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO, but I believe he's speaking also in his capacity as Managing Director of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Please make welcome to the lectern, Mr. Omar Sweeney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I have to start by saying that I question the wisdom of the suit this afternoon, because it seems like it's going to be a warm one, and we have quite an agenda in front of us. However, I will endeavor to be quick. Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, to the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang, Member of Parliament, Heroy Clark, to Your Excellency, Ambassador Marian Van Steen, Head of the European Union Delegation to Jamaica, to to the permanent secretaries present, Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, and your team, to Bishop Conrad Pitkin, who just spoke, to my own chairman, Dr. Wayne Henry, chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and I will say, Dr. Henry, happy birthday. Today is your birthday. Please. Hard-working man on his birthday, and born in a good month. To other representatives, distinguished members present this afternoon, I see Mr. Mark Carr-Jarrett present in the audience, as well as Mr. Norman Gordon. Today I'm pleased to address you in two capacities. Yes, as the Managing Director of the Jamaica Social Investment Funds, but also as the Deputy Chairman of the Zone of Special Operations. As you well know, Mount Salem was the first zone established close to 4 years ago in 2017. And as my chairman, Honorable Prime Minister, would tell you, we set out on a task here in Mount Salem to make this the model of the Zone of Special Operations. And since 2017, more than 4,500 residents have benefited from social interventions and social investment programs here in Mount Salem. We have invested close to $320 million in aspects to improve the community, such as zinc fence removal, road rehabilitation, regularization of the water supply, youth engagement and skills training programs, amongst many other interventions that would have occurred, the community fairs, the sports programs, and building the overall cohesion of the community and the residents here. We were also supported by a critical partner here today with us, the European Union, as the flag to my left would indicate. And the European Union came on board to support the redevelopment of the Mount Salem police station, right? This police station, an investment of $47.6 million, would see to, I don't have to describe it very much, but it's quite a modern state-of-the-art facility that's standing right here next to us. And today we're here under the auspices to open the police station. But what's important is that when we embarked on the Zone of Special Operations to combine what was a new approach, an approach that would combine the police and the security, enhanced security measures, along with the social development and investment in the community. We wanted to see a model that would ensure the long-term sustainability of these types of investment, that's one. We also wanted to make sure that state actors, government state actors like the National Works Agency, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the St. James Public Health Department, the National Water Commission, these are all government state entities that could work within this community and bring government services to Mount Salem and its environs in a way that would be sustained and also build the capacity of the residents to be able to call upon the state or the government agencies whenever deficits would exist. And that's important about the approach that we have used in Mount Salem some 4 years now. And I know, I'm certain that when the police come up and other speakers come up, they'll speak to the successes of the intervention so far. But what I will say is that we will continue to support the residents, and we as in the government of Jamaica and its agencies will continue to support the residents of Mount Salem and its environs in this way. One of the things that we paid particular attention to is to ensure that the interventions were not one-off, right? This station that you will open today will have the ability to provide a more customer-centric approach to residents. So it's not just for the aspects of policing. It is also to ensure that if there is a minor dispute or you just need some advice, that here is a resource that is here for you in the community of Mount Salem. We have some more work to do. I'm pleased to announce that the Mount Salem Primary and Infant School, which is another commitment that was made to the community as a part of the zone, we will sign the contract and start the constructions for the rehabilitation of the school in August. And then our final commitment, because my chairman, most honorable Prime Minister, does say to me, Mr. Sweeney, we are on a timeline, and we have to meet our commitments, but we have to keep our timelines. Our final commitment is the land regularization and titling for the residents of Mount Salem. We have started that work. We're about midterm with respect to getting the land surveyed and being able to splinter and identify the titled properties. So that will be the last major aspect or intervention that would be required in this Mount Salem from a social intervention standpoint. And so we will continue to work and support the community. And so I do want to say in closing that I would like to thank the partners. I'd like to thank the many government agencies who have supported the process, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as well as the persons resident on the Social Intervention Committee. And especially for today, I want to take this opportunity again to thank the European Union. This is the second police station we've opened in St. James in a week. And I want to thank the European Union for their continued support to the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, more than 20 years, and to the government of Jamaica, close to 40 years. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Mr. Sweeney, the Deputy Chair of the ZOSO and also Managing Director of JSIF. Alone, it is said, we can do little, but together we can do so much more. And of course, I underscore the gratitude expressed to the partners who have been involved. And Mount Salem has more to look forward to. It's definitely not a love you and leave you relationship. It is going to get better. The primary and infant school students, I'm sure, as we get out of this pandemic, will have that to look forward to in terms of their face-to-face interactions. And of course, residents will in fact be able down the road to benefit from the land titling program of which you spoke. So thank you, Mr. Sweeney, much appreciated. Permit me to extend apologies on behalf of His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Leroy Williams, who is unavoidably absent this afternoon. But allow me in the same breath to welcome to the lectern the Member of Parliament for St. James Central. I know he's a happy man. Please put your hands together for Mr. Leroy Clark. And I want a nice round of applause, so come on, let me hear it. Mr. Leroy Clark.
Madam Master of Ceremony, Mrs. Marlene Stevenson Daly, JP, Custos, my very good friend, Mr. Omar Sweeney, Dr. Wayne Henry, Major General Anthony Anderson, CD, JP, Her Excellency Ambassador Marianne Van Steen, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, CD, MP, my mentor, brother, and father. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, and I get the chance to say it out loud. Good afternoon, media personnel, resident of the community of Mount Salem, and to the hard-working men and women of the JCF. Some time ago, a festival finalist penned the song, and I quote from the song, "I have got this feeling, a very eerie feeling, and when I get this feeling, I know something is in the air. Love fever is in the air." Today marks the day when Mount Salem residents can say they have that eerie feeling, because the long-awaited
police station is here to stay. Proverbs 24, verse 3 to 4 says, in a profound way it speaks to leadership. It reads, by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. One of the many facts that we cannot ignore is that things are changing in Jamaica. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, to be exact. Our hard-working men and women of the force have for many years felt forsaken, but the tide is changing. Though it may not be at the pace we would all want it to be, we are getting there. I am sure some of us might recall a newspaper article that highlights the structure that previously exists at Mount Salem. The look of the building and the area around it concerned many as they drove or walked by. That signified the needs for a change in appearance and service to the community that was wanting of some. With our government paying keen attention to creating better system for crime intervention across our communities, this, the rebirth, as I call it, will have an immense mark in this era. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, the opening of a new built police station, this building is here to serve each and every member of the Jamaican public that enters its doors. Some may see it as a refuge for their difficult lives. Others may look to it for guidance. Whatever be the reason, the good women and men that will occupy this building will no doubt continue to serve, protect, and reassure the citizenry of this community and the parish of St. James wholeheartedly. We each have our duties as good citizens to care for our environment. And as we do, so too should we take care of this building. In the words of Helen Keller, and I quote, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. End of quote. Today I implore us all to play our part in ensuring the work that has been placed in erecting this structure will not go in vain. Let us as a community protect what is ours, and while we are protecting, let us not forget to pray for our leaders, our community, and our island. From the parish of St. James, in particularly the people of St. James Central, we say thank you to Joseph. We say thank you to Ambassador. We say thank you to our well-respected Prime Minister of Jamaica. Once again, we greet you all. We say thank you. We say come to Mount Salem whenever. Stop by the police station just to say hi to the police and to see how well they're doing in their new edifice. Thank you all once again.
And thank you very much, Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Mr. Heroy Clark. Indeed, embracing the change, and it's a positive one, so we're happy for that. And I know the citizens will protect it. It is in their interest so to do. I believe the birthday boy, he's raring to go. If I could sing, I would sing you happy birthday, but I can't. So let me just invite you to come to the lectern at this time. Our chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Dr. Wayne Henry, who is also Director General in the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Please make him welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam Master of Ceremonies, Mrs. Marlene Stevenson-Daly, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Mr. Heroy Clark, Member of Parliament, St. James Central, Her Excellency Ambassador Marianne Van Steen, Head of Delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, Major General Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police, JCF, Bishop the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Custos Rotolorum for St. James, Mr. Courtney Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director, Jamaica Social Investment Fund and Deputy Chairman of the ZOSO, Zone of Special Operation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good afternoon. This is when they say it twice, good afternoon. A 7-year-old came to his mother at the end of the week and said, Mommy, I'm not going back to school anymore. And she said, why? Why would you say that? He said, Tuesday teacher said 4 plus 4 equal 8. Wednesday she said 6 plus 2 equal 8. Yesterday she said 7 plus 1 equal 8. And today she said 5 plus 3 equal 8. I'm not going back till she make up her mind. It is my pleasure once again to bring remarks at the handing over ceremony for the Mount Salem Police Station, as only a few days ago we handed over the Adelphi Police Station. In executing our mandate as the Office of the National Authorizing Officer, NAO, the Planning Institute of Jamaica is keenly aware of the depth of commitment required on both the part of the Government of Jamaica and the EU delegation to arrive at this point. Since 1975, over 46 years ago, Jamaica and the European Union formed a partnership when Jamaica became a member of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific ACP group of countries. Today, the European Union, the EU, remains the largest provider of grant resources to Jamaica and continues to be an important partner in achieving our development goals. The present GOJ-EU cooperation program is aligned with the country's priorities as articulated in successive medium-term socio-economic policy frameworks, what we call the MTFs, utilized to implement the National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. The strength of partnership forged some 46 years ago at the level of government is greatly reflected in the Poverty Reduction Program, the PRP, with poverty reduction being a central pillar of the partnership. The PRP, which began in 2001, is a community-based initiative funded jointly by the European Union and the Government of Jamaica at a cost of 44.1 million euros. The PRP represents coherent long-term support to the poor and vulnerable in volatile communities by the European Union. The EU's support to the police has been long-standing and goes back to PRP2, which commenced in 2007. To date, the EU has supported the rehabilitation and renovation of 15 police stations, which includes the Tivoli Gardens and Hunts Bay police stations. In addition, the strength of the EU commitment is also evident in the strong alignment of EU efforts with government priorities. In 2010, the EU agreed that PRP4 should be aligned to the Community Renewal Program, the CRP. The CRP was developed by the PIOJ to empower volatile and vulnerable communities. And since 2012, PRP4 has contributed to the implementation of the CRP in 65 volatile and vulnerable communities, including the development of a Community Renewal Index, CRI, to gauge the effectiveness of community interventions. In addition, through our budget support program, the EU is providing assistance through the program to support citizen security in Jamaica. I wish to use this opportunity to again express gratitude to the EU on behalf of the PIOJ and the JCF for their wholehearted support to both programs. The PRP represents key ingredients for a successful and enduring partnership and is evident in the tripartite relationship that exists among the PIOJ, JCF, and the EU delegation. The institutional teams demonstrated their strong work ethic and other essential factors for the successful implementation of this project, including teamwork, communication and dialogue, mutual respect, and determination. In my capacity as Director General of the PIOJ and Chairman of JCF, I can attest that the PIOJ, JCF, and EU teams work tirelessly to complete activities and sub-projects on time and within EU-specified guidelines. The teams were focused and displayed such tenacity and determination that realization of project goals were inevitable, in spite of many hurdles faced during project implementation, including the nuanced challenges associated with COVID-19, the pandemic. With the completion of the Mount Salem Police Station at a cost of, as you heard, $47.6 million for infrastructure and design costs about 22,000 residents from surrounding communities of Mount Salem Road, Westgate Hill, Rosemount Gardens, Farm Heights, Green Pond, and Irwin Heights will benefit from this investment. I think I can speak for everyone when I say excellent work and job well done. On behalf of the PIOJ and JSIF, we reiterate our thanks to the EU for their commitment over the many years and express gratitude to both the JSIF and PIOJ teams. We stand with you all as we work together towards Jamaica's development in making her the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
And thank you very much, Dr. Wayne Henry, representing the PIOJ this afternoon. What a partnership. What a partnership. Thank you for sharing with us some of those achievements that you've had over these years, and of course, reminding us of the relationship that we've had with the European Union for as long as 46 years. Of course, we have to get a little seasoning in the pot. And so we're going to now hear from one of our community members who has a little bit of entertainment, I believe, for us. Please put your hands together for Miss Donna Wedderburn, who comes at this time with a cultural item. No, not a cultural item? Well, Donna is coming with something, so be on standby.
Bless the Lord. It's an item, not a cultural one. All protocols observed. Good afternoon, everyone. Truly, I'm honored this evening to see this beautiful edifice. And to be honest, God has been good. And as I do the song, I know it is a fact what I'll be doing this evening. Standing here, not knowing how we'd get through this test, but holding on to faith you know best, and nothing can catch you by surprise. You've got this figured out, and watching us now. And when it looked as if we can't win, you wrapped us in your arms and stepped in. And everything we need you supply. You've got this in control. And now we know that you made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made Oh, now we're here. We're looking back at where we came from. Because of you and nothing we've done to deserve the love and mercy you've shown. You've got this in control, and now we know that you made a way. So when our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made, You made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made. So you move mountains, you cause walls to fall with your power. Perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made. So you move mountains, you cause walls to fall with your power. Perform miracles. There is nothing that's impossible. And we're standing here only because you made. Say you made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way. And we're standing here only because you made. Yes, we're seated here only because you made. And we're standing here only because you made a way. Thank you. God bless you.
Give it up one more time for Miss Donna Wedderburn. As in the midst of all that we do, we take time out to give glory, yes, to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Major General Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police. He's with us today again. He is thrilled. I can see it from behind the mask that he is beaming. Clap him for me as he comes to bring his remarks. Major General Anthony Anderson, Police Commissioner.
See, I'm beaming without the mask as well. Thank you, Mrs. Marlene Stevenson-Daly, Madam MC. We're meeting like this very often. The more often, the better, you know, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable Dr. Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Mr. Heroy Clark, Member of Parliament, for St. James Central, I think just across the road is someone else. I think the Attorney General is just across the road, but wasn't able to be here. Her Excellency, Ambassador Marion Van Steen, head of the EU delegation to Jamaica, Mr. Courtney Williams, Permanent Secretary, I think you're right, you're there, and of course our first citizen of St. James, the Honorable Bishop Conrad Pitkin Custos, Mr. Wayne Henry. Good to see you again here. Of course, our partnership has carried us a long way and is a work in progress. And Mr. Amar Sweeney, remember when we sat down those years ago to do all of this. Dr. Kevin Blake, Deputy Commissioner of Police, and the Portfolio Officer for Force Development and Logistics, which is a new portfolio in the force. It was conceived last year around the summer part, and it was in place with staff, actively working almost immediately and in position in their new headquarters back in sometime earlier this year, about 8 months after being conceived. Mr. Clifford Chambers, Assistant Commissioner, Area 1, and Superintendent Vernon Ellis, who is the commanding officer here, and the recipient of yet another police station in a matter of days, Corporal Ron James and other members of the Police Federation Executive, members of the community, and of course Ms. Winsome Barnes, President of the Mount Salem Community Development Committee, other stakeholders, members of the media, all good afternoon. One of the things that stands out about this station, apart from obviously the aesthetics and it being a welcome addition to the assets that support the citizens of St. James, is the speed at which it was completed. And the speed at which it was completed suggests a certain momentum that we are bringing to this whole business of development, transformation, and modernization of the police force. There's no way we can do that sort of, or get that kind of momentum alone. And it is really partnerships with the EU, with JSIF on other sites, the National Housing Trust, our own project management and maintenance division, and just the focused attention of people to get these things built and this work done. The Ministry of National Security and the Project Rock team, and of course, most importantly in getting anything like this done is the vision that is given, the vision that we all buy into in terms of what should a secure Jamaica look like. This is, and I thank you, PM, for sharing that vision a few years ago, and DPM for, us working together to realize this vision of a secure Jamaica. Because really that is the source of all the activities, of all the interventions, of all the thought, of all the everything that goes towards creating a secure, a safe country, starts with a vision of what that is. And it's a shared vision that moves us along that path. Now, this momentum that we're seeing in terms of the development of this station, in terms of opening 3 police stations in 2 weeks, is not just a momentum of infrastructure. It's also a momentum that we have inputted into our recruiting. We have graduated 254 police officers since April. I have 712 police officers in training now. Our capacity to train police officers has tripled. So as we come out, or not even come out, as we have learned to survive with COVID, because last year this time we were talking about surviving COVID. What we're talking about is thriving by the opportunity, from the opportunities that COVID-19 has presented to us. And so it has allowed us or gave us the impetus to look and see how, in this environment, can we hit the targets required to actually properly police the country. So we actually have moved from 2 to 4 training facilities over that period. Now, the momentum that's generated from that means we can turn out police officers at a much faster rate. But I want to make a point with respect to that. These police officers that we're turning out are not boots on the ground. It's a term that has been used for some time to describe our police officers. That's not what I'm producing. What I'm producing are young Jamaicans who are professional law enforcement officers, who are highly trained, who are adaptable, who can deal with a domestic situation, can help somebody to cross the road, or they can face danger and violence and respond in all of those circumstances appropriately. That's what I'm doing. And that's what we need. Not just numbers. Not just numbers. Okay. Now, St. James. So some 4 years ago, we embarked on this, I wouldn't say experiment, but certainly embarked on this idea that unless you combine security and community change, once those are done separately, then you won't get the success that you want. You will not get the results in the long term that transforms, that transformative result. So 2017, we launched the first zone. And I must say, obviously, before the zone was the act. And that act was rapidly put in place. From the concept to actually getting the act in place, to actually us as law enforcement and the military as a joint partnership going into a space to ensure that we give space to the necessary social intervention, social development that was outlined by Mr. Sweeney earlier, and create a model that can be replicated in other communities across the country. That was followed quickly by a state of public emergency by early 2018. And what happened then was that all violence in St. James went down significantly. Both violence in communities, but also police violence. I dare say even domestic violence. That's the next step, what that was done. The third one, and coming out of that, because it's a process, we had to develop capacity within St. James to rapidly respond to the circumstances that we were seeing in downtown Montego Bay and other places. So we created in St. James, and this was led largely by Superintendent Ellis and his team, the St. James team, to develop the quick response, bike-based teams that could respond very quickly to anything that was happening in downtown Montego Bay. And what we have seen subsequent to them operating in downtown St. James is the number of violent incidents drop off dramatically since this team has been operating there within downtown St. James. But this same team is a team that during COVID, and I've said it before, but I can't say it too often, it's the same team that carried homework to 300 students across the hills of St. James because they didn't have internet. So we had to get homework to them and back to the school. And these same guys who are doing the hardest form of policing, being willing to take on the most dangerous of bad guys, was also the same team that could carry homework. And that is representative of the police force and police officers that we're talking about. Highly professional, well-trained officers. The other thing that was created there was a novel framework for community intervention, not just in Mount Salem, but in Salt Spring, and the relationship that was built between the police and the residents of Salt Spring that probably heretofore had never happened. And we have the representative here nodding, and that's good that you agree with me. So that novel approach immediately allowed stakeholders and partners in St. James who wanted to make a difference to come on board with us, to partner with us to deliver to the communities and create a better relationship between the police and communities. The next logical step to that process, clearly, is that within the area of the zone of special operations and the other communities that we deliver service to actually have a facility like this from which we can deploy, but we can also have persons come to deliver quality policing service here. So there was another part of the plan that I'm going to raise here. in terms of the security around St. James and in the western end. And that is, there is a plan, I wouldn't say there was a plan, there is a plan to create a specialized operations west. That was, early on, that was part of the plan. It got interrupted a bit because of COVID. But that has to come back on board, on the table again. It is a process of getting perhaps 200, 250 specially trained police officers, similar to what is in Kingston, similar to what persons saw probably on social media at Oakland's the other day, or SWAT teams, etc. Here in St. James, that can respond very rapidly to evolving, emerging situations or ongoing situations, and locating them up in Montego Hills, right in the middle of the problem. But the design and scope of that is a design that allows for shared facilities with the community and creating a safe space for the community to operate with the police in that space. So that is another one. You know, that's part of the momentum that we'd like to see get on board. The good thing is that everybody who can make that happen is here. and I'm sure, you know, as part of obviously the development of St. James and the security around that development, it's really a critical component of it. And I won't go on for much longer. I know we have, I don't want to take all the time. But just to note that we have onboarded over the past 2 weeks technologies that will allow us to get better situational awareness, particularly around what is going on across the country, but particularly around Kingston and St. Andrew at the moment, and better technologies that will allow us to better coordinate our assets to deal with those problems. I met with the High Command last night to be updated on the progress of this, but also updated on the progress of the list of those persons who are the purveyors of violence. We have a national list of those persons, and they will be subject to law enforcement action, both investigative intelligence and operational action, and that will have an effect that I expect to see in the coming weeks of having our violence trend going down. It's a matter of using our technology allows us to locate where things happen, who's doing it, what time of day it's going on, where our assets are when it happens, to better coordinate that. And I think it's important that persons are aware that's part of their momentum, and the momentum will build will give us the results. The truth of the matter is, anything that you're going to try and get momentum on and build, it takes a time where you're coming out of the ground. During that period, it may appear that nothing is happening or not enough is happening. But as soon as you get over that threshold, you see it all start to play out. Those additional officers, those highly trained officers, the mobility, the facilities, the technology, all coming together to deliver better and better security outcomes. Just two last things, if I may. The additional space that is available here is allowing us to create, you know, we had announced sometime earlier, I think Prime Minister had announced it as well. We have 6 new domestic violence intervention centers being built across the country to be in place by December. The first 3 will be in place in a few weeks. That's the momentum. So the momentum is not going to carry me to December to do that. We're going to get that done early because the need is great and we're getting the momentum. The 11th one will be here. We now have the space here to do the 11th domestic violence intervention center here at this place. And it's also given us the opportunity to expand the facilities available to Sissoko, which is the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, to expand their facilities here. It makes sense. We have domestic violence intervention here. We have Sissoko operations here, and we have a hospital right here. So there's a natural synergy that comes from tying all of those together right here. So we're getting more than just policing out of this station. We're getting a whole service, and the police force delivers not just crime fighting, but delivers about 20 services or so to the public. So special thanks, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, for supporting this development and this station, and of course to the EU, everyone else who has had a part to play, and of course a special charge to Inspector Franklin Hunter and team, who is going to get this facility. You need to deliver a service that is commensurate with the facility. It needs to be husbanded by us, taken care of by us, and be that refuge, safe space, place that you can go and just say, as the MP said, you can just say hi to the police officers. Do not feel that it's a place that you shouldn't come to unless you have something happen to you. Just come and say hi and give those police officers your support. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and for me personally. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Major General Anthony Anderson, Commissioner of Police. And you have a plan, sir, and it is certainly a welcome plan. It's a multifaceted plan, and whether it is your capacity building for your members of the JCF, who we expect to be professional and highly trained and also adaptable, so adaptable that they can be the same folks who deliver homework. That's interesting, and that's commendable. And of course, the relationship building with the community, which is so important as you work together, and the delivery of quality service, utilizing the technologies that are available and being able to provide so many different services right here in the heart of the parish of St. James, just very much a part of the city of Montego Bay. Thank you very much, and we just continue to pray for you and the members of the force so that this plan will be successfully executed over time. Allow me to just acknowledge the presence of His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Leroy Williams. Good to have you, Your Worship. And to introduce you to the head of the European Union delegation to Jamaica. We were together in Adelphi last Friday, and you would have heard earlier on that this is the second police station that is being opened for the parish of St. James, and that's a positive thing. That's a good thing. I know she's delighted to be with us this afternoon. I'd like for you to put your hands together as we bring her to the lectern, Her Excellency Ambassador Marion Van Steen.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Stevenson-Delly. Can you hear me? Or maybe I should speak louder. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister of Jamaica and Minister of National Security, Mr. Hero Clark, Member of Parliament in St. James Central, Major General Anthony Anderson, always difficult to speak after you, but I'll do my best, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Leroy Williams, and I should not forget, as last week, the permanent secretaries accompanying their ministers, Dr. Wayne Henry, happy birthday. As you all know, Jamaica Social Investment, Chairman of the Social Investment Fund and Director General of the PIOJ, and Mr. Omer Sweeney, Zone of Special Operations and Managing Director of JCF. all other distinguished guests, members of the community, members of the constabulary force, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's always a pleasure to see a project to come to fruition. Last November, I was here with many of you to break ground for the construction of this police station, and today I'm very happy to be back and to participate in the handover of this new facility. It has been very fast. I have to say I'm very impressed in a couple of months to see that building standing there where there was nothing 6-7 months ago. The European Union's contribution to this achievement is a concrete evidence of our commitment to supporting Jamaica to achieve its own nationally agreed priorities. Over the last 45 years, it has been said, the European Union and the government of Jamaica have collaborated intensively to deliver tangible support and assets with long-lasting benefits for the people of Jamaica in a wide range of areas. One of the vehicles through which we have done this at the community level is through the EU-funded Poverty Reduction Program, which started 20 years ago and for which implementation we have partnered with JSIF. And that was a good decision. Thank you, Mr. Henry. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Because by partnering with JSIF, we have been able to identify and address real needs of the communities. And not only JSIF, but also various ministries, such as the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, as well as civil society organizations have played an essential role leading to what we wanted to achieve with the Poverty Reduction Program. Notably, tailor-made interventions, the empowerment of community members, the uplifting of entire communities, and let me add, also to the build-up of stronger ties between the poor and more volatile communities and the government, its agencies, and its departments serving them. So today, we witness the results of one of these partnerships, notably the excellent collaboration between the PRP via JSIF and the Ministry of National Security and the Constabulary Force. But let me underline that this brand new police station is not just about bricks. It's about offering a professional working place for the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and thereby contributing to improved policing and other services benefiting thousands of Mount Salem's residents. And Mount Salem is not an isolated case. Through the PRP, and let me underline this, through the incredible dedication of all involved, we have been able to construct or to rehabilitate no less than 15 police stations all over the country. In that way, bringing benefits to many more police officers, men and women, and citizens. Let me also add that BRICS, in other words, infrastructure development, is critical to any community, but in order to contribute to a sustainable, crime-free environment, the PRP support also included education, income-generating projects, and behavioral change and community empowerment initiatives. Because we know, and that has also been said by Mr. Sweeney, to reach sustainable results, the work of the security forces need to be underpinned by social interventions. The two go indeed hand in hand. With this comprehensive approach, and to come back to the new police station here, let me thank all who contributed to the construction of this new station. And if I may, in particular, the police officers who cooperated and contributed with remarkable professionalism and dedication. The result we see here today would not have been possible without you. Finally, I would like to conclude by saying that although the Poverty Reduction Program unfortunately ended a couple of months ago, in April, I wish to underline that the European Union remains a strong and reliable partner for Jamaica and is continuing to support the government to address the issue of citizen security. We're very hopeful that, partially through our support, the government's renewed efforts to create an enabling environment for Jamaicans to feel safer and more secure will be successful. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope the police forces and the community members of Mount Salem will soon experience the positive impact of this new police station. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much.